Alexander Shkudun, the dating exam.
Miss, has anyone ever told you that you are more beautiful than hundreds of thousands of precious gems? Alina scoffed, barely holding back a smile.
You're not the first and you won't be the last, buddy.
With a smooth, graceful stride, she glided further without paying any attention to the young man's words. Imagine her surprise when a few hundred meters later, she heard from behind, "Even the brightest star doesn't shine as radiantly as you."
Is he kidding me?
Alina abruptly turned around.
What else do you want to say? Spit it all out at once. Let's save time.
The guy almost ran into her. He blinked in surprise, visibly embarrassed. I...
Wow, how eloquent. Is that all?
Alina tilted her head ironically. The guy shifted awkwardly in place, desperately trying to say something.
Thought so. Ciao.
The girl flashed something between a grimace and a smile and hurried away. The young man remained standing in place, awkwardly biting his lips.
Stop.
The movement around them froze as if in a photograph. Passers-by and cars stopped in their tracks. In the sky, the silhouette of a plane hung motionless, as if suspended in midair.
This won't do, Nikolai.
A middle-aged man in jeans and a light t-shirt stepped out from behind a building, shaking his head sternly.
This is your third time failing the test.
Master, it's not my fault. I'm following the instructions exactly, and nothing is working. The young man spread his arms in frustration, then fell silent, lowering his head. Absolutely. I can't imagine how people even manage to meet.
And why do you think we've introduced a course on meeting the opposite sex?
The teacher chuckled.
It used to be easier. People connected so effortlessly that if you had suggested a subject like this back then, you would have been laughed at. Now, things are different. Women have changed, and to meet them, you need to put in some serious effort. And why is that?
The man deliberately paused, looking at the young man with a questioning expression. The young man only shrugged uncertainly.
The number of men on the planet has outgrown the number of women. Now women have a wider selection. In this fierce competition, concepts like love and attachment are gradually losing their meaning.
The young man nodded, beginning to recall the introductory lecture from the first course, during which he had, in fact, allowed himself to fall asleep. Meanwhile, the man continued,
Women have become more liberated and calculating in their choices. Before entering a serious relationship, they scrutinize you against all criteria. Their children's future depends on it. And we have to come up with various ways to attract the attention of the girl we like. If you manage to intrigue her, you can start a family and live happily. Otherwise, it's a lost cause. You will never have a family.
I'm still a useless student.
Son, you don't always have to act according to what you've been taught, especially when it comes to relationships with women. Here, a special approach is needed. Non-standard thinking. No instructions will help you. You have to rise above all the other, dare I say, males, and show your individuality. Only then can you hope for something.
The man called the master sighed.
All right, I'll show you again. Watch and learn.
The man waved his hand, and the city came to life again. Hasty pedestrians and cars resumed their movement. The distant sound of sirens echoed. Someone in the crowd spilled coffee on a neighbor. The usual hustle and bustle of an ordinary day? Alina walked down the street unhurriedly, enjoying the summer breeze. She was in no rush. Today, she had passed her final exam, and now she could leisurely think about her vacation plans.
Maybe a trip to Crimea? Ah, if only I had someone to go with.
Suddenly, someone very gently wrapped an arm around her waist and kissed her cheek.
Lenka, hey there.
Alina was momentarily stunned. She even stopped, shocked by such unexpected audacity. She turned, ready to give the stranger a piece of her mind, and froze. A handsome man in his 30s with the physique of an athlete and gentle brown eyes looked at her.
Oh, forgive me, I mistook you for my friend. What a coincidence.
Alina felt as if she were rooted to the ground. She wanted to say something, but the words refused to form, as if some unknown force had cast a spell over her lips.
It's fine.
She barely managed to whisper, still gazing at the stranger. The man smiled warmly.
So, so can I ask, do I at least look like Lena? What an idiot.
Alina scolded herself, feeling her cheeks flush and realizing she had completely failed.
Stop.
Time obediently slowed down. A woman in a light sundress stepped out of the shadows of a tree, looking at Alina with reproach.
And what do you call this? Falling so easily for a stranger. What have they been teaching you for 2 years?
She stepped closer, eyeing the girl's conversation partner suspiciously.
How many times must I repeat that all men are the same? They only want one thing, to get a girl into bed. That's it. What happens next doesn't concern them.
The woman sighed. After a second, her voice softened.
Understand, we must think about the future, ours and our children's. This is sacred, and in the society we live in, we cannot afford to think only about satisfying our personal physiological needs.
She continued speaking, but the girl seemed not to hear. She silently studied the frozen man, smiling at something.
Alina Alexandrovna, I'm not counting your exam as passed. You'll have to retake it tomorrow.
The instructor exclaimed angrily.
Unbelievable. What kind of students are these?
She rolled her eyes to the sky and waved her hand tiredly. Life went on. Workers bustled about, fixing something in the sewers. Families strolled leisurely, pushing baby strollers. Street vendors murmured their usual sales pitches. Only the man and woman stood facing each other, unable to say a word. Everything they felt could be read in their eyes alone.